7mm, 9mm, 11mm, 13mm, 14.5 millimeters, 15 millimeters, 17 millimeters, 20 millimeters, universal round, teardrop oval, adult PVC, semi-hard, printed on American, new joint, medium, large, screw-on, push-on, D-symmetrical, clip-on, silicon, vinyl-on, gold, silver, flex, acetate, crystal, titanium, biofuel, rectangle, Zeiss, soft, Unifit, soft wing, Harmony, Junior, baby, polycarbonate, air cushion, hypoallergenic, biomedical, glass. Have you guessed what it is yet? Well, today we are going to talk about nose pads. This all began back when I got my first Sios catalog, probably almost 6 months ago now, and I sat down with it and I went through it page by page, and lo and behold, I turned one of the pages and I said, whoa, I didn't know they made those. And it's just been bugging me since that I wanted to share it with you. And I will at the end of this presentation. Now you're all familiar with the Hilco catalog and the Sios catalog. Well, I sat down with them and I did a count. And to give you an idea of the variability in nose pads, Hilco offers 129 different pads and 46 different style straps and bridges for a total of 175. Sios, 124 pads, 10 straps and bridges for a total of 134 different styles. So I think that gives you a really good idea of the variability, the number that you might need to actually have on hand to make repairs, and the overwhelming variety that comes on all of those different frames that are out there on your board. I just want to cover some things that come up as a kind of a routine when talking about nose pads. There is no way I'm going to cover everything today. We're going to get into more of that when we get into the nitty-gritty of dispensing and adjustment, but just going to hit some highlights since we brought it up. And I'm going to tell you about that really cool pair of nose pads that I didn't know existed. Tools. Just know that there are all different kinds of tools for adjusting nose pads. I'll give you some close-ups there. These are two from Sios. I have always favored, this used to be called the European, the longer nosed, the narrower. It lets you really get in nice and tight behind there. Never going to brace or hit the frame and kind of create a tension. We're going to break something off. Speaking of breaking things off, that just doesn't happen as often as it used to since the quality of frames has gone up. So he's been one of my favorite tools. It's a little tiny pair of jeweler's pliers from Vigor, and that really lets you get in and make some really fine adjustments to your guard arm, which is really what all this is about as far as adjustments go, rather than trying to do it with the nose pad pliers. I've always really liked these little guys as well. We have some aids, so to speak. I really struggle with these a little bit. I understand their purpose. I think if you're a newbie and you're tentative and you haven't done it much, it might be a really good idea to have one of these. I suspect I've only got a couple of years before I get the old man shakes worse than I do already. They have their place, but it's also in a way a little bit of a crutch. I want to make sure that you practice enough and do this enough that you actually get competent enough where you don't maybe necessarily have to grab for something like this every time. But let's say you were in fact worried about damaging the lens while you were doing this, you tend to slip or something. That's called the fish that wraps around there. Obviously, I could take my fairly sharp, fairly small steel screwdriver and, I could really mess up here and I am not going to hurt anything. I can deliberately, I'm going to scratch the lens. Okay. It's not going to happen if I'm using this to protect it. And there's also the Ghost, which does kind of the same thing. And, I think everybody has a version of these things, but there again, I'm not going to hurt anything if I slip while I'm working on a nose pad. Again, work on this yourself enough to be competent where you don't have to worry about that. One other thing I always love to touch on when I'm talking about nose pads is the use of an asymmetrical pad, meaning that you have a rounded edge and a flatter edge. And just so you know, if you ever have the flat edge, that faces out towards the world. Your rounded edge faces in towards your customer, your eye. So if you ever see that backwards, you need to swap them around. That's so you know, in case you ever have to figure that out. There are variations of this tool which is designed to work with pop-off pads. A lot of you probably have the fork, which looks just like this part alone, and that works like so. You just reach in there and pop that out. Now, the beauty of a tool like this, the tweezer version, the plier version is a tool that looks like this, but has this head on it, is that it allows you to support the guard arm while you're popping the pad out. And of course, I'll get you a close-up of that, which completely eliminates the risk of damaging the guard arm, moving the guard arm, or of course, breaking it off, which would be the worst possible thing. And that lets you pop it go right off. This is a handy little tool as well. So we've got different kinds of nose pad tools, little adjustment pliers. We have got our fish and our ghost, our protective pieces for working with nose pads. We've got different tools for popping pads off. Find one that you like and you would use. It's another thing. On all of these tools, don't necessarily feel like you're locked in to what you have available at work. You're an optician. If you find a tool that really works a whole lot better, reduces the chance of damage, simply does a better job, I think I might invest in that tool myself, even if your employer maybe isn't willing to. But hey, that's just me. I've got the two cool ones I want to show you, but since I pulled this tray out anyway, let's take a peek at a couple of the other specialty items that come with this tray. We've got a picture of the guard arm that they're designed to go onto, tells us what material they are. We've got our old clip-on style B&Ls there, handy to have around. We have got a post-style round. I would say these are kind of meant for full rimless eyewear, like a silhouette design. That's particular ones are hard. They also come in this really squishy silicone as well. And that comes in 3 different sizes, an 8, a 9.5, and then these kind of whopping ovals. And I'll show you a trick. Let me pop this open. These are a version of that in a rectangle. And if you ever need to pop these on and they don't go in real nice, let me show you a trick on how to get those in. If you can see that, it has the raised ledge there, and you've got something that looks like that. Sometimes they just pop right in for you real nice and easy. If they don't, this is how they installed the windshields back in the day before the glues. And this is just nylon cord. You could use a thread or just about anything else you wanted. Pop that in there. And just pull. Voila. And last, before our new cool ones, these are the old style silhouettes. I think they're kind of interchangeable with the new ones and the old ones. Just some other stuff that comes in the kit. Grab these catalogs, look through them. And the two that I really wanted to share with you, this one I knew about. These are actually, ready? Titanium nose pads, which I think are pretty darn cool. There's some titanium frames that come with these. You could always swap these out yourself. If you had a really cool metal frame, you didn't want to destroy the look of it, there is a titanium nose pad, which of course is also lightweight and hypoallergenic. And these are the ones that I was amazed about. These are glass. How cool is that? Glass nose pads. And before you go having a hissy fit, they're hardened glass. They are considered unbreakable. And let's face it, if that little tiny piece broke off and it just went away, I don't think anybody's going to die. My guess would be these would be the perfect answer for that person that says they are allergic to absolutely everything, including titanium, plastic, air, water. This might be your perfect last resort. I just thought those were cool. Probably also extremely easy to clean. You could use hot water, soap, dishwashing liquid, and get those probably as clean as the day they went on for a long period of time. So those were the ones that I wanted to share. Just kind of a quick overview of some things that are related to nose pads. Again, we will get into a whole lot more down the road. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching me on Facebook, give me a like. If you're watching me on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Make sure that every lens in your optical life comes from Laramy-K. I will see you again next week. Today, about the miracle of the nose pad. Miracle?